Okay, so we have got actually another psychic slash medium. They and Jacob wants to make the hosts believe. I love that. Jacob, you are on with Ethan and Dave. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Good, good. Thanks for.
Hey, Jacob. So you want to convert us, huh?
Yes, I'd like to touch and ask you guys a few questions and maybe share some of my own experiences with you guys, and maybe try to get a few questions of you guys as well, and maybe get a few answers for you guys.
Sure, I'm down.
Bring it.
So, I'm only 19 years old, and I live in Illinois as well. And I feel like my experiences throughout my life have shown very much proof of paranormal existence. I've had this ability since I was very young, like around 4 or 5, when I started to really realize what I was able to do. I believe I got it from one of my distant cousins. She's a female, and she's able to also talk to spirits as well.
Okay.
So I kind of want to answer some of your guys' questions, maybe for me being a psychic medium, about communication.
Sure.
Do you guys have any questions when it comes to actually communicating with spirits? Because
well,
your
yes.
last caller, I really liked the things that he had to say when it came to his beliefs when it comes to the paranormal, like how he said it's kind of a rare occurrence in a way with some people, but with other people like me, it's really not. Like, to be honest, I don't want to be a psychic medium. I don't want to have to live through some of these experiences that I have. And for instance, Dave, I don't. Have you ever had any paranormal experiences in your life?
Have I? No.
Yeah.
No, and I'm a lot older than 19.
Different is what.
Well, I think perhaps we should clarify that. One
what?
second, Jacob. When you were a believer, did you have any paranormal experiences? Because when I was a believer, I did have things happen to me that I couldn't explain that I believed were ghosts. And it was after I became a, atheist and skeptic that I was like, okay, I can't accept that these were ghosts.
Well, that I think speaks to the point of all of this. You kind of see or hear what you believe you will see or hear. There's a preconditioning that goes into this. And I was a believer in a supernatural God for over 35 years. And so I expected to hear God. I expected to see miracles. I expected to see things that I couldn't naturally explain because I believed in a supernatural God. And so when you have an expectation for these kinds of things, it opens up your mind to perceive it. And so to answer the question, as Ethan, I think you spoke to that. When you asked me, Jacob, have I had any paranormal experiences? My cold answer to that now is no. But I would have answered that differently 15, 20 years ago. I would have said, yeah, there were times where I heard God or I saw something that I believe was attributed to a supernatural God. But in those times in my life, I was preconditioned to expect that and to see things and to hear things. So I think that goes a long way to explaining why some people like you, Jacob, and other callers would say that, yes, we see these things and we hear these things because you're preconditioned to believe that you will. That's my honest answer.
Oh, well, my question for you now is preconditioned and how. I wasn't, when I was 4 or 5 years old, my father, I'll tell you a story real quick. My father bought a house from Ruby Draper, and she was a person that she was really old. She was like in her mid 80s, and her husband was on the brink of passing away. And my dad was buying the house actually from her family that was kind of selling it for her. And she ended up passing away with her husband in that home before my dad bought it. And ever since I was little, me being unaware of who my dad bought the house from because I'm only 4 or 5, I'm speaking to this lady, and I'm communicating with her. And I actually treat her like kind of like my grandma to this day. I still hear and talk to her from time to time. Not as much as when I was younger, but that's just one kind of example. I feel like the preconditioning thing doesn't really correlate with that type of experience.
Well, no, I think I would suggest that as a child, we are, and I don't know your childhood experience, but my childhood experience was filled with fantasy, with everything from Disney to movies about ghosts and things that were paranormal and supernatural. It was treated not in a scary way, but in the way that we would think I can talk to animals, for instance, because in the Disney movies they did. And so I think there is preconditioning that comes with being a child. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know your experience, but it would have been very normal for me to think to transition from watching that on a TV screen or playing with a doll that an action figure that I think is alive and talking back to me in my imagination, that we haven't learned how to be cynical and skeptical. We're preconditioned to believe in fairy tales and fantasy. And so I think children are very much predisposed to that.
I would have to disagree with that specific case, but Ethan, if you want to say something, you can.
Yeah, so jumping back to what you had said in the beginning in terms of like if we had any questions regarding communication, what I look for is someone who has the consistent ability to regularly talk and not one of these on-off situations. And as I equated it to earlier, something like a radio, is that what it's like? Like, can you turn it on and then hear a full-on conversation and it be reliable?
So with some experiences, yes, some experiences, no. And this is the part that I know Dave is going to kill me for, because I don't have any scientific evidence or, not a lot of backing to prove some of these claims. But sometimes when I'm talking apparitions, like I also have a paranormal investigation team, and I also work with different clients, and I go to their houses for them, and I help them try to answer some of the questions they might have with their spirituality or their spirit phenomenon problems that they're having. And sometimes there's nothing there, sometimes I feel like they're just imagining things, but other times I go there and I'm able to tell like who lives there, what his previous name was. And sometimes it comes through very, very clear and I see them like as how they used to live. Other times it's when they died. I've dealt with suicide cases. I've had loved ones that have came to me and asked me to talk to their deceased loved ones that tragically committed suicide. And sadly, most of those cases, I see them as they last died. I just actually recently dealt with a lady in Mackinac, Illinois, and she committed suicide by shooting herself. And I happened to see her just like how her final moments, basically. And that one was really hard with me. Now that, in that specific case, I already knew what those people's names were and what happened, but there's obviously a bunch of other times that I've done work for clients and they have no clue what could be inside their house or homes or even retail establishments. And I'll go there and I'll help them kind of sort through these problems. My town, Canton, Illinois, is very historical, and I've done, like, I like to say like 50-60% of the buildings on our square that have loads of history, and I've been able to kind of piece together a lot of different things. I've dealt with a few 2 to 3 murder cases now. But yeah.
I apologize. Trigger warning. Please, before you talk about like suicide, make sure you give a trigger warning, just because there are people who that need to be careful, things like that. And I apologize, everyone, that I missed that one.
Thank you, Jacob. Hold up a minute, Jacob. First of all, I was a little troubled by that whole tone of the conversation, and it sounds to me like you are when you say clients, you're getting, people are paying you to contact their loved ones who've no.
I was just trying to think of a term for people that I go and help, I guess.
Okay.
May I ask whereabouts in Illinois you are? Are you near Chicago? Don't say like your specific town.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't mind giving my location if that's okay.
Yes, just you can give your town, just don't give your like address or anything, please.
Okay, I'm not going to. But Canton, Illinois. It's a few hours away from Chicago. I'd say about 3.5 hours.
All right. So if I wanted to, like, if you and me were to talk further, like, or meet up, what could you possibly? How could we test your ability and the reliability of it?
I feel like the best way to do that was you set up some place that I truly don't know anything about. So you couldn't tell me in advance, which would be kind of, on your end of things. You couldn't tell me, I guess, but you could take me anywhere that might be considered haunted, and I would be able to give you adequate information from there. Obviously, that would
information about what?
Like, not necessarily like a haunting.
What could potentially be there?
Could you tell me anything about like the people who have died in my life? Because
yes.
Oh yes.
Well, no. I'm sorry. It depends. It truly depends on. Now, this is the part that's going to get a little weird here.
Oh, it's already a little weird, Jacob. Sorry, too late for that. Go ahead.
Well, so you guys are kind of scientific, right?
I'm sorry, what?
We're skeptical.
Scientific?
Yeah, we trust science because science.
Scientific.
Yeah, go ahead.
So let's just say, for instance, that somebody has a loved one passed on. Okay, their spirit, their soul, and I believe that everybody personally has a soul. Okay, that soul, for some reason that is unbeknownst to me, stays here almost like an imprint. Okay, and that imprint is like almost like a pre-recorded message in a way, kind of. It's hard to describe, but that's what I see personally, me being a psychic medium. And whether or not that your loved ones stay is something that I don't understand, and that's something that I kind of have to help people with, and helping to try to understand. And that's something that can be caused, I feel like, now this is my personal belief, for a few different reasons, and I'm giving a trigger warning. Murders, suicides, I feel like hold a lot more energy, and it almost traps the soul, in my beliefs. And a lot of other, like, let's just say, like, older people that pass on naturally, or even from heart attacks or medical causes, I feel like their souls don't stay trapped here, and for the reasons I don't know. And that's what I feel like happens.
Well, that's, to be honest, Jacob, that's a lot of speculation you just unloaded there. Just a lot of, I feel and I believe, this whole notion that, first of all, that there even are spirits and souls. There's no evidence for that whatsoever. And to then speculate that some of them hang around and some of them leave, some of them are trapped because of circumstances surrounding the passing. I think that has a lot of potential to do a lot of damage emotionally to the loved ones of these people. And I'm really, really getting pissed off listening to this. I'm really going to be honest with you, because I'm afraid. I have a good friend whose husband ended his own life, and she had no clue it was coming. And she had no understanding as to why. She had all these questions, and she actually spent a lot of money on mediums. And I'm not saying that you're that way too, but she spent a lot of money that she didn't have, trying to get some answers, trying to come to get some closure. And when psychics and people, I don't want to be unkind, but people like you who posture these ideas and who put this stuff out there that is completely unverified, without a shred of evidence that it's true, and put these ideas out that some souls are here and some are not, and I'm going to contact some for you and with you, and some of them we can talk to and some of them we can't. It leaves that person, that loved one, in such a place of uncertainty and limbo when they contact you and you say, well, I don't know. I tried, and she just, we couldn't. And they're then laden with all this guilt or all this stuff of, well, what did I do wrong? And how can I find them? I'm just really troubled by this whole concept.
It's so,
Well,
I have to say I'm with Dave on this, and I do want to continue to approach it with an open mind, and because you do sound genuine. I would like to dig further into this at another time and possibly see what you're capable of, because I have not had any luck in this area. Anytime I meet someone, they tout some pretty remarkable abilities, and then for some odd reason, once they get around me, their powers just magically stop working, or there's an excuse, and it gets frustrating, especially when I have, like, for instance, a family member trying to communicate with another family member who passed away, and going and spending money, and then this person is like telling this family member what my loved one who passed away was saying, and it's just like, and I was getting mad. I'm just like, you don't know that, and now you're putting words in a dead person's mouth. So please, I hope, Jacob, you don't think we're trying to be rude.
No,
just
not at all.
Why
Oh,
this
no.
can be.
You sound very sincere and genuine, but I will say you're also very young, and I've experienced a lot of life, and I've dealt with a lot of people who've lost loved ones, and it's a very tender arena, and I get very defensive of them when I feel like they're maybe being manipulated or taken advantage of, not intentionally, maybe with good intentions, but it usually doesn't lead to good things.
I think this is sorry. Go ahead.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, please.
I want to comment something on Dave's perspective on spiritual proof, and that is that I would like to show you, both of you, at some point, not tonight because we don't have time. I know you have other people to get to, but I have video recording evidence and like photos and EVPs. Yeah, I'm sure you're familiar with EVPs by now, and just other things that aren't just hearsay of me, but other videos that I've collected and other people's videos. Like, I don't mean to say clients, but other people that I've helped, videos that they've given to me, to maybe try to show you guys, so you might have more reasonable evidence to go on, because I would have to.
I would love that.
Ethan's always looking for video and photographic evidence, always.
Well, Dave, I want to ask you something, and I know this is. I don't know how you react to this question, but there's thousands and thousands of people all over the world, not just in the U.S., but all over, for thousands of years, that have had these types of experiences. And what do you, just because that you haven't had one, and I'm not being rude at all, but to discount everybody else's experiences because of lack of scientific evidence, I feel like is really, really, what's the word? You're kind of doubting a lot of people, thousands of people.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am. And I always will, because experiences don't mean anything. There are people who believe they talk to Jesus every day, and there are other people who believe they talk to Muhammad every day, and there are other people who believe they talk to Thor every day, and others who, that means nothing. I mean, experiences are a dime a dozen.
But what the actual experience is like, if you don't mind, I'll tell a quick story real quick.
We really don't have to. Oh, do we? Okay.
We do got to wrap up, so make it super quick.
Okay, so I worked for a client. Well, I guess somebody that they didn't give me money, but I'm just using the word as a client. Okay, and I went to their house, and here's the thing about me is that I'm atheist as well too. I don't believe in any God.
You're an atheist. Okay. Sorry.
Yes.
I love this, because there are times I bump into some people and they're like, oh, atheists never believe in the supernatural, and it's categorically false. Atheists only lack the belief in a God or gods. But I'm always bewildered how an atheist can lack a belief in God or gods, but then believe in other paranormal things. So just for clarity, you don't believe in any God?
No, I do not.
Interesting. That's puzzling to me, but I'll let you continue.
A few reasons why. Because I've actually talked to different spirits, and I've actually asked them these same questions. is there an afterlife? Is there a God? And a lot of them answer with the same answer, and that is no. I've heard that from numerous spirits on numerous different occasions. There is no afterlife. And a lot of the spirits that come and talk to me about that, I ask them, well, why are you still here? And a lot of them respond with, I don't know. A lot of them actually can't see anything around them. A lot of them are just stuck. A lot of them see darkness. A lot of them are just purely trapped. And then others, though, are able to actually see me and have a full-on conversation with me. But a lot of the spirits that I've communicated with have just said no. And that's part of the reason why that I feel like I am atheist. But, you know, I also have my own beliefs. My family was never religious in my life at all. So I've never grown up with any religion or anything like that. And it's just how I believe, my personal experiences. And I know, Dave, you said earlier that personal experiences mean nothing. But let me tell my quick story, and then
we actually, unfortunately, we're like way over time. We're not going to be able to get to the last caller, unfortunately. So what I am going to do is, one, definitely you're welcome to call back. We do this show every week. It's not going to be the same hosts. Next week will be crap. I should have had that information ready. Next week is going to be Kenneth, Leonard, and Arden of Eden.
Next week is going to be crap, you said. So I'm curious to see what that's going to be.
And then also the week after that, Secular Rarity will be making his debut on the perspective with Kenneth Leonard. But I'm really excited. Next week is going to be a good week. But you're definitely welcome to call back. But in 30 seconds or less, I'm going to give you the last word. Also, keep in mind, I do want to chat with you more so we can set something up offline.
Okay, well, that's my question is I'd actually like to accept it. Dave, where do you live, if you don't mind saying? Do you live in Illinois?
No, I'm in North Carolina.
Well, I'd be more than happy to actually fly you out, and we could all talk in person and maybe do a little adventure, or you can come to one of my clients' houses, or even this could be.
I'm sorry, are you bullshitting? Or are you being serious right now?
No. Oh, I'm being totally serious.
Make it happen, Ethan. I'm down. I'm bringing my. Yeah.
We are connected via Facebook.
I would fly him out.
That if you can fly him out, dude, that gives me another opportunity to see Dave again. Because, dude, I will say so. I don't know if everyone got to know. I finally got to meet Dave like about 2 weeks ago, and it was really nice. He's a good hugger, and it was just, Dave, you are such like an inspirational and happy person to be around. You're just so fucking chill, and it was pretty cool.
Thank you. So are you, dude.
Thanks.
Yeah, man. Jacob, make it. Ethan, get in touch with Ethan. Let's make it happen.
All right, 30 seconds or less. You have the last word.
That's basically what I wanted to say. I have a bunch of camera equipment you can also use if you want to make a YouTube video or whatever. I have a lot of different equipment. But I'd gladly do that because I want to show you guys a full experience.
Okay.
I honestly think that the last caller that you guys had, I think that he's a great candidate as well if you guys don't choose me. I really respect a lot of the stuff that he had to say, and I think he was being very genuine about everything that he had. Thank you guys so much.
I am so down to do this. Like I said, you and I are connected on Facebook, so let's get this figured out because I want this to happen. And
make it happen, man.
I appreciate you taking the time to call in and waiting on hold. And thanks for the conversation.
Yep. Thank you guys so much. Have a good night.
You too.
Thanks, Jacob. Wow. Ethan.
Well, I am skeptical on whether or not he is going to fly you out.
He said he would.
I know.
We have it on
but
tape.
I'm a little hesitant to believe that.
Well, if he does, I mean, I'm not going to spend my own money to come out there and try to talk to spirits. But if he wants to put that together and he'll put the bill, we'll find a time to make it happen.
Definitely. That's the advantage, like being connected with a lot of these callers on Facebook. It's a lot easier to follow up, get them to send us evidence. Problem is, like some of the paranormal investigators, things got canceled, so that's why
just fell through
is in Illinois. I jump on it and I'll just keep hammering home till I actually get to do one of these investigations. So I assure the audience, I will follow up with this, and it is going to be on their end, whether this comes through or not, because I am like an excited 5-year-old when it comes to these things.
You do. You jump through the.
I do. I get
You
so
jump
happy.
off screen. That's so funny.